So we're going to do a little warrior 3 kind of practice so that we can start to work on our balance and our core strength, because I find, especially as women, we don't tend to have a lot of balance in our lives. It's all or nothing. It's either go, 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 or complete burnout. There's kind of no in between. And so I find doing balancing poses really helps support, create that mindful awareness of having more balance off the mat. And on the mat, we're strengthening our lower body, our legs, ankles, glutes. We're also strengthening the core, and we're also working on creating more mindfulness and more focus. So we'll work on Warrior 3, and what I'm going to do is give you a couple of different variations so you can build up this pose, so you don't have to come straight into it. We can work on building those core muscles, which help with that ability to move and take action in life and stand in your power and your truth. So there's a lot to balancing poses, I find. And so what I'd like you to do is, first, if you can, you can pause, get yourself some blocks, or you might have some sturdy, thick books that you're able to lean on. So if you don't have blocks, you can use books. And then when you're ready, coming onto your mat and just bringing your awareness to how you're standing, maybe shifting the weight from side to side, and notice how you can, your core muscles automatically switch on, giving you that support, supporting the spine. And also what I find is, as we get older, especially for women, we tend to start to lose our balance and have more accidents. So we want to build, it's like we're future-proofing our body, so that as we age, we still have that awareness of our body and strengthening those main muscles. And we'll come into our first variation. So what I'd like you to do is shift your weight to your left leg and engage through your core. So imagine you've got a hammock attached to your pubic bone and your tailbone, and you want to lift up all those muscles like it's a hammock, and we're just lifting it all up. And then hip bones come in towards one another. It's like we're squeezing into those tight pair of pants that we should have thrown out 3 years ago. Squeezing into those pants, so those hip bones come in towards one another, and the belly button goes towards the spine and up towards the rib cage. And this is a continual movement, so it's hammock lifts, hip bones come in towards one another, belly button in towards the spine and up towards the rib cage. And it's a gentle contraction, so think 5-10% contraction. You can still breathe. So we've shifted the weight to the left leg, we've engaged through the core, and you can bring your hands together at your heart space, and you can lift. We're going to lift right leg up, and you can place it on one of your blocks, one of your thick books, and we've still got an engaged core. So there's not a lot of, if that block were to be removed, it's not like we're putting all our weight on it. We're just using it to help give us a little bit of support. And just taking a few breaths here. So the hips are in line, and maybe what we'll do is I'll just drop that down for a minute and lift that foot off the block. Knee is in line with the hip, hips are level, and I'm on a mat which is not really helping with my balance at all. So this is variation number 1. You can stay here. You can use a wall if you would like to give you that support. Our core is engaged, so it's switched on. We're still working with our balance. We're still working with our core. Using the wall, hands can be extended also to give you that extra support. If you would like to come into variation number 2, we're going to step that foot back. It's nice and controlled. We step it back, the toes touch, and we bring it back up. So again, we're working with the balance, working with the core. So you can do a few rounds of that. If you would like, we've got our blocks. We're going to come onto the blocks, shifting the weight, engage through the core, and extend through that right leg. So we push out through the heel of the foot, gaze down towards the floor. We lift out of that left hip socket. Maybe the fingertips are just touching the blocks. So again, we're working with that balance, working with your core, working with your focus. And we can bring it down. If you want the toes to touch the floor, if you're feeling quite unstable today, working there. And if you want to come into full warrior 3, after you've tried those, we've shifted the weight, we've lifted that leg up, and we start to roll through the spine. So we start to take the chest down towards the ground whilst taking the right leg backwards. Like I say, this mat is not very stable at all. And using the blocks to support whilst we extend through that leg. And then maybe when we feel a bit stable, we can take the arms off. You can interlace the fingers, have the index fingers touching, and then take the arms overhead. So we've got this beautiful reach through the sole of the foot and the fingertips. So we're trying to touch the walls in front and behind. 2 more breaths. If you come out, come back in. 1 more breath, doing great. And then we can come down. Woo! Maybe do a bit of a hip circle, release through those, through the ankle and the hips. This time I think I'm actually going to come off the mat because it's quite unstable, and have my blocks, and we're going to do the other side. So we're going to do the right side. So shifting the weight to the right leg, engage through the core, so we lift everything up and in towards the midline. Maybe the hands are at prayer together at your heart space. Lifting that left leg up, maybe placing on a block. Taking a few breaths here, maybe taking off for a few breaths. Maybe you want to step back, nice and controlled, bringing it back so the knees in line with the hip. Hips are level. If you want to come down, your back foot is down. We're using the blocks. Our core is engaged. We're micro bending that standing leg, and we'll extend through that left as though we're trying to push the wall away behind. Nice long spine. Gaze down towards the floor. And you can come out of that by just bringing your foot down and pushing into the soles of the feet. Or if you would like to take your hands off and extend, we interlace the fingers, index fingers, touch as though you're trying to touch the wall behind or in front. Or if you want to come into full warrior 3, we've shifted the weight to the right leg, lifting that left leg up. Start to roll through the spine. So we start to lower the chest whilst taking that back leg out, pushing out through the heel, extend those arms, release the grip on the toes, shoulder blades drop down the back, gaze down towards the floor. If you come out, it's all good. Come back in again. 2 more breaths. Lift out of that right hip crease if you can. Feeling completely unstable today. I can't even get back in now. Let's try 1 more breath. How are you getting on? How's your balance today? And then we can bring the leg in, bring the body up. Whoa, hard work. And we'll circle with the hips and the ankles and the knees in one direction, releasing through that hip, the ankle. Maybe come into open Tadasana, your palms face forward. Notice how you feel. A little bit warmer, a little bit more engaged through the core. So you can obviously do a little bit of a warm up beforehand so that you can warm up. So maybe some hip circles before you come into your practice. And let me know how you get on. How's your balance today?